Well, good late afternoon, early evening, everybody. Ron Wheeler here. I want to welcome you to our class, How to Generate 3% per month with one option trade per week. It's a great seminar that we're going to have for you for over the next hour and 15 minutes or so. So I hope you're excited to be here with us. And we're going to share some great income trading secrets with you as well. So I opened up the class about 4 minutes before the class officially starts. We start at 6 o'clock Eastern time. But I always like to open up the class just to make sure that everybody can see the screen, everybody can hear my voice. So what I just did is I put a slide on it that says on air. If you can hear me and if you can see my screen, just do me a quick favor and shoot a yes or a Y into the chat window. That way I know that, pardon me, and you might hear me clear my throat from time to time. That way I know that you can hear me and everything seems to be working okay. Oftentimes I catch a little bit of issues before we start the class, which is why I started a few minutes early just to make sure. And I see lots of folks chiming in. Yes, yes, David, Donovan, Mike, Philip. All right, good deal. Looks like the early birds are here and they have said yes. I see lots more yeses coming in there. Peter, got Kim in there. We got Kevin. All right, good deal. Good to see all of you in there as well. So it looks like everything is working, and that's a very, very nice thing. Good. Now, we're going to start officially, like I said, about 3 minutes. But before I get started, I'm just kind of curious, what time is it by you? You know, I always am curious to see where our broadcasts are going. I happen to be in Ohio, by the way, Northeast Ohio, just south of Cleveland. And I'm an Ohioan, born and raised. VectorVest, the company I work for, they have two offices, one in North Carolina and one in Ohio. And I happen to work out of the Ohio office. My colleagues that you'll hear from today, like Brian, and you might hear John or Todd in the background answering questions, they're down in North Carolina in that office. So I'm kind of by myself up here in Ohio, but that's okay. I make the best of it the best I can. I see, wow, couple right off the bat, lots of 3 p.m.s. All right, those of you joining us, I would assume out west somewhere. Could be California, could be Vancouver, could be Oregon. Interesting. Couple of you guys in the East Coast time frame. Looks like a couple in Chicago. I don't see anything crazy so far yet. Nothing in the Europe range yet. Nothing in Australia. But looks like a lot of North America type folks. And that's okay. Like I said, I'm always kind of curious to see where you guys are joining me from. And then also, just for the heck of it, what do you do for a living? You're retired? You still work? The only reason I ask is, I like to get an idea of what people are doing. One of the reasons that I came up with this approach to trading was really for myself, not to sound selfish, but I was a day trader and I spent about a decade in front of my screens for 8 hours a day and I got tired of it. And I wanted to do something a little bit more, dare I say, passive, you know. So I learned options and I developed kind of this methodology that you're going to see today for my own trading. And I've been trading this way for 15 years. And when I got hired at VectorVest, I originally kind of brought this course in as one of our retirement courses, thinking that this would be great for someone who's retired, they're not working, they don't want to spend a ton of time in front of their computer trading, and they just want to do something a little more hands off for their investments to generate income. And it's been very, very popular. So I just kind of wonder where you are. Okay, I see a lot of retirees in there. Retired after 36 years of anesthesia practice. That's well-deserved retirement right there. Tom, I see you're retired as well. So yeah, I mean, it looks like the general vast majority are retiring. I see a couple of people that are retiring soon. Oh wow, in the 30s. All right, that's cool. You know, I always the youngest person I ever taught this class to was 14 years old, and you're never too young to learn how to do something like this. That's the beauty of it. All right. Well, in any case, small talk aside, it's 6 o'clock. Let's jump into this thing. You are here for our webinar called How to Generate 3% per month with one option trade per week. And in today's webinar, I'm going to be showing you the system I developed here at VectorVest that helps you generate income in any type of a market. Now, the information I'm going to share with you has not only changed my methods and my way of trading and really my life, more importantly, I've seen it change the lives of so many people I've taught this to. So I hope you're excited about it as well. And just a really quick apology right off the bat. You might hear me clear my throat a bit today. I'm getting over a cold. I thought it was allergies, but it turned out to be a cold and still a little nasally. So sometimes I'm going to have to clear my throat. All right, in this webinar, you're going to see how you can begin making a paycheck averaging 3% per month or more. And keep in mind, you can do this regardless of market direction, up or down, it doesn't matter. You can have little to no prior experience with options. It's safer than buying or selling stocks, and it's something you can do quickly. Now, I know it might sound too good to be true. You might be thinking, is this legit? You want some proof. Well, I would be too if I were you. I see those, overhyped advertisements of 600% return, these Instagram and Facebook people showing their, oh, I made $90,000 today trading crypto and currencies. Listen, it's all BS. And I'm not like that. I like to let the results stand for themselves and let you decide. Every Monday, I trade with my clients. I have a coaching group that I've run since 2016. And my goal is to make 3% per month on average, 36% per year. This is last year's results. I took about 150 trades. I average about 12 trades per month. And with a $100,000 account, I made 37,000 bucks. My average winner was $1,000. My average loser was about $1,000. I made money in 8 out of 12 months. That is what realistic trading looks like. It's an average of 3.1% per month. So I'm telling you 3% per month because I know, based off of the results that we've had, is real. It's feasible. It's doable. Okay? Now, so far this year, and April's not over yet, and to be completely honest, it looks like April, I might have a little bit of drawdown in April. The market kind of topped in April and started selling off, and it's kind of bounced around a little bit. So I might have a little bit of loss in April. Nothing major, but as of the end of March, I'm at about a $10,000 profit. $887 winner, $755 average loser. So again, I'm on pace for my hopeful 3% per month, even with maybe a little bit of drawdown here in April, but I still have a lot of trades on that aren't closed yet, so I have a lot of hope. Now, whether the market goes up or down from here, it doesn't matter. I can still generate income, and that's the beauty of it. Now, I've been teaching this technique to students since 2016, and one of my recent students sent me this email in December, and he said, hey, Ron, just wanted to send a quick email to thank you and your team for the SPX Paycheck course back in September. I've been using this method and tracking my performance, and like you thought you'd like to see the results. I entered my first 35 Delta SPX trade on September 21st with $5,000 in my margin account. Now, less than 3 months later, I'm already up 24%. Thanks again. I'll be teaching this method to my retire in-laws to help them grow their account in retirement. Now, I love to hear that. And it's also a lesson for you. You don't need to dedicate, $10,000 to this. You can start small while you learn and build. It does build up quickly. For example, if you start with $5,000 and average 3% per month compounded over 15 years, that puts you at $1 million. And if you start with 25 grand, you'd be near a million after 10 years. You're looking at some serious money. Now, clearly, if you have more than $5,000 or $25,000, you'd get there much, much faster. Now, some of my clients were kind enough to share their photo and their results with you, and we're going to talk about a few of them today. And these are real people just like you. So as I teach you the system today and share their stories, pay close attention because you might find that you're in a very similar position now as they were when they first started. Now, again, my name is Ron Wheeler, and I'm the options trading manager here at VectorVest. I've been trading now for 27 years. And when I first started, the first couple of years, I had mostly losses. In fact, I blew out a couple of my trading accounts. And the reason I was losing was because I was trading in a way that required me to be right to make money. If I bought something, it had to go up. If I wasn't right, I'd lose money. But a huge aha moment came to me when one of our clients, who was a hedge fund manager, came to visit our office. He showed me the secrets to how the big guys trade and make money. Long story short, he showed me the inside secret to using options so that even if I'm wrong with my analysis, I could still make money. He showed me how I use options in a way that controlled risk. Basically, he showed me how to stack probability and control my risk. And think of the pressure that takes off you. You don't even have to be right to make money. Now, in today's webinar, I'm going to show you the exact system I use to generate these types of returns. I'm going to show you case studies and examples of our clients who are doing this. And I'm going to show you our system so that if you learn and follow our system and strategies, you can do exactly the same. And if you stay with me till the end, I put together a little checklist that I'm going to provide for you right in the handout section. It's a PDF. You can print it out today. But do me a favor, remind me when we get to the Q&A section at the end, because a lot of times after about an hour, I typically forget. Okay? So why is this such an important topic? Well, without an income system, it's on you, and that creates a number of problems for us. If you're not retired, It keeps you stuck in a situation where we have to work in order to live. Whether you got a lot of money or no money at all, concerns about finance are one of the leading causes of stress. Worrying about whether you'll have enough or if you're going to run out of money, that can have a big impact on your life, your health, your relationship. If you're already retired, you might be watching your savings get depleted faster than you can fill it, especially with all the prices going up so much as they have over the past few years. If things don't improve, you may fear you'll continue to have losses that draw on your account. You might even fear you'll have to give up on investing and go back to work. Worst case scenario, you'll run out of money during retirement. However, with a system to help you generate income, things are a lot different. And I believe this is probably the most important point of the webinar. So pay close attention, even write down what I'm about to say. In order to be financially free, the main need is income. And to be financially free, all you need to do is learn how to generate enough income from your investments to cover your expenses and lifestyle needs. So I'll say it again. In order to become financially free, all you need to do is learn to generate enough income from your investments to cover your expenses and lifestyle needs. Whether you're still working or retired, the ability to generate income from your investments is one of the most empowering skill sets you can have. When you have the ability to generate income from your investments, your life changes. If you're still working, you can increase your earning capacity. It's like you have a second job. If you're retired, you can have a consistent source of income as if you kept working, but you're not anymore. It's like a tap you can turn on whenever you need. That allows you to do the things you want to do now and when you retire. When you got a system that helps you generate income, it can help you retire younger. And as I said, I believe this is one of the most important points of the presentation, so I'm going to say it one more time. When the income from your investments exceeds your living expenses, we become financially free or have the ability to retire. For example, Brian's a client of ours who's a great example of how easy it is to become proficient at drawing an income from the market, even if you don't want to invest a lot to begin with. Brian had some health problems and he said he needed a way to supplement his income. By using the options paycheck system, he was able to generate $23,000 in profit starting with just $6,000. He achieved a 100% winning trade rate in 10 months. He had 31 of 31 winning trades using our most basic system. And the key point here is it wasn't beginner's luck. It's the result of following a good system. It's the system that helped him get 100% winning trades and create that $23,000 in profit starting with just $6,000 in 10 months and do it safely. Now, the first thing you need to know to take control of your returns is a bit of a strategic mindset shift. You're either going to continue being the gambler where you lose more than you win, or you're going to become an option seller and win more than you lose. Being an option seller is the way that you can make consistent income every month, and it allows you to win even when you're wrong. And the reason why you want to be the casino or the house is that, well, number one, the house always wins in the end, right? House can have a bad day. You know, you hear about these guys winning a $15 million jackpot on a slot machine or something, right? Casino still wins. They make a lot of money off a very narrow percentage. Why do they do that? How can they do that? Because they control and they stack probability in their favor. If there's an angle, they create a rule around it. It's a beautiful thing, really. The options paycheck system is built around you stacking the odds massively in your favor, kind of like a casino. So make a note of this. In order to control your returns and results, you need to know how to stack probability in your favor. And the obvious question is, how do you do it? Well, again, that first step is that shift from being the buyer of options to being the seller. So let me explain. Bruce is a great example of that shift from gambling on stocks to being the casino and controlling and stacking probability in his favor. He said prior to working with us, he had mainly taken stock tips from brokers. Bruce focused on our SPX income system, which is our most basic trading system, as he's not the most technical person in the world. But in the time he's working with us, he's grown his trading account from 100 to 497,000 in 3.5 years. He's achieving a 74% win rate by following the rules of the strategy, the options paycheck system. And he said, his words, the whole system takes him around 15 minutes a day. So let me show you how this works. Here's an example of a typical trade you've been taught to make. You find a stock you like, you think it's going to go up, so you either buy shares of it or you buy a call. Now, why do you buy a call option? Well, mainly it's because when you started learning options, it's what you were taught to do. If you think a stock will go up, you buy a call. If you think a stock will go down, you buy a put. But what ends up happening a lot of times, and just as a personal note, when I first started trading, I was a commodities guy. I didn't trade options. I dabbled with options, but I didn't have much success with options at the beginning. And this is one of the reasons why. I would buy a call and either the stock didn't go up, no big deal, maybe I picked the wrong stock, or this was the worst. You bought a call on a stock and it went up, but not enough. And that call ended up expiring with no value. It was worthless. Has that ever happened to you too? Well, what's the problem that's causing you to lose? Now, most people feel the problem is maybe they picked the wrong stock. Certainly possible. But what if you picked the right stock? Maybe it was the wrong strike price or the wrong options expiration. Well, let's talk about the real problem instead. If you've been losing money or had more losers than winners with other systems, it's not your fault. That's because most of the systems on the planet teach you to be on the wrong side of the trade. You're taught to buy options. But as a buyer, the probabilities are not on your side. And for most people, they end up buying and losing and buying and losing and buying and losing. Our options paycheck system teaches you a new way of thinking. You need to be a seller and not a buyer. This is how you get ahead of everyone else. This is how you put probability on your side. This is how you can win even if you're wrong. So let's take a closer look at selling options. As a buyer, a typical trade gives you a 50-50 chance to be a winner, right? Because when you buy something, you only make money if the stock moves in your direction. So instead of having a buyer's mentality, we are going to have a seller's mentality. So instead of just hoping a stock goes up, you're going to strategically set up your trade using probability. Now, this probability is derived from what the stock has done in the past. What price movements has it had? Probability will tell you where the stock is not likely to go. So, for example, in this case, instead of just needing the stock to go up from $204 a share, I can pick a price like down at 195 and say as long as the stock stays above 195, I can make money. Now think about that. You pick a price down at 195. It's $8 below the stock price. Okay? $8 below the stock price. And as long as it stays above it, you can make money. If the stock goes up, congratulations, you made money. If the stock goes sideways, congratulations, you made money. The stock can even come down and you still have room to make money. Right off the start, from the very beginning, probability is in your favor. Now, you can even increase that probability even more. You can simply choose a lower price, which gives you a bigger area where you can be right. We do a lot of trades that start off with a 70% chance of success. And the only way you can do this is as an option seller. As a seller, you're putting the probability of success in your favor, and this is the definition of an income trade. An income trade is one where you can make money even if you are wrong on direction. Now, you remember Bruce? Bruce continues to trade with me every week. In fact, he posted in our private Facebook group and said, another day of trading on the beach. Got my eyes on AMC and a cold beer. Life's good. Thank you, VectorVest and Ron, for giving us the tools to do what we do from anywhere. That's a great picture of being financially free. Now, another client of ours, Mike, he was someone who said he dabbled with options but lost on each trade. Can you imagine how frustrating that is to lose on each of your trades? Eventually, he just gave up. He went back to the books, tried to learn a little bit more about options, but he said he never felt comfortable he knew what he was doing because he had all this knowledge, but no set criteria of how to use it. So Mike and I worked together. I taught him the options paycheck system, being an option seller, and he became like an income machine. After he learned the system, he immediately went out and said he had 17 out of 19 winning trades with a profit of over $12,000 in 4 months. And the key lesson here is this: that move from buyer or the gambler to the seller or the casino, the house, that turned his situation around. He was so proud of his success, he even sent me a spreadsheet of his trades. Now here's Mike's results. Notice the number of winners compared to losers. It's typical. Also, notice the length of trades. You got some that are 2, some 7, some 10, some 11s, a 13 in there. He's making about $1,000 every 7 to 10 days. Now, if you're like Mike and a lot of our students, you can begin by simply trading the SPX, which is an index that tracks the S&P. That involves only one trade per week and has averaged about 4.5% per month since 2016. The odds are stacked in your favor on these trades. You're not looking for one big home run trade to become a millionaire overnight. You're growing your account steadily and safely each year. And that's the key. Home runs look good, they do, but singles are what wins the games. These singles are what will enable you to never run out of money and be able to do the things that you want to do. So you've seen by simply flipping from buyer to seller, you can stack the odds significantly in your favor. Now we're going to stack the odds even further by understanding and capitalizing on the three most common buyers or gamblers' mistakes. The first mistake is that buyers choose unrealistic strikes. They choose strikes that are so far away the stock has no chance of hitting it. Here's a stock. Let's say you're bullish on the stock. A mistake a lot of option buyers make is they buy calls with strike prices way up here. And the problem is the stock has a very little statistical probability of going there. You're looking at a stock that's trading at 217, okay? You're basically betting that to make money, the stock's going to have to go up probably $17 to $20 a share. If it doesn't, you're not going to make any money. Now, why do people buy options that do that? Why do they buy them that put them so far behind with so little probability? Well, because a lot of option buyers, they treat the options like the lottery, right? Ah, it only cost me 50 bucks. Worst case scenario, I lose $50. That's not going to hurt anybody, right? Well, they're gamblers. Most of the time they lose. And since there's always going to be buyers out there who buy these options, you may as well be the one who sells it to them. Because when you sell them these options, you have a high probability of winning. Now, there's also people that buy puts way down here, either as lottery tickets or cheap insurance. Okay? Maybe they own the stock and they just want to protect their stock holdings. That's great. Either way, they're buying an option that has a very, very low chance of being hit. So when I say being hit, let me clear this. Stock's at 216. They buy an option strike at 200. They're essentially betting that the stock will go from 216 down to 200. That's what I mean by being hit. The stock goes from 216 to hit 200. It's a very low probability. And since there's always going to be those buyers out there, they need someone to sell them these options. We're going to do it because when we do it, it gives us a 60 to 90% probability of success. Now, the second mistake that a lot of buyers make is they choose expiration dates that are too close to the current date. It's like going to the grocery store and seeing a piece of steak on the discount rack. It's cheap, but unless you go home and cook it that night, you got to throw it away because it's going to spoil. Options are very similar. Here you see what happens to the price of an option in relation to how close it is to expiration. So in the upper left-hand corner, you're seeing an option time value about 180 days, 6 months before expiration. And you can see over the course of about 4.5 months, that time decay goes very, very slow. And then right around here, that decay becomes exponential. You start losing your option time value very, very quickly. Now, a lot of option buyers, they buy their options with less than 45 days to expiration. Why do they do that if there's so little time left? Because again, the options are cheaper. It's like buying a lottery ticket. But when you do that, you're stacking the probability against you. So instead of buying options, this is going to be our window to sell options. We're going to be selling options in that window. Now, to be more specific, we sell within 21 to 45 days for the majority of our trades. That's the sweet spot, if you will. Let me show you on a graph, a little bit different, okay? Here's a graph of Home Depot. Most buyers, they'll go out and buy an option with an expiration out here. That's about a month away, 35 days probably of expiration. The problem is that expiration's too close. Because even if the stock goes up, the value of the option is decaying exponentially. This is bad for the option buyer. But you're not going to be the option buyer anymore. You're going to be the option seller. That seller, as a seller, I should say, that decay works in your favor. Now, again, remember this. There's always going to be people out there buying options that have expiration dates too close. You may as well be the one who sells them the option. Let them be the gambler. You're going to be the casino because you're going to win in the end. The third mistake is that buyers simply pay too much. They buy what's called an overpriced option. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I got two stocks here. take a look at the prices. They're basically about the same price. They're 76 bucks. They're within 12 cents of each other. But even though the stocks are the same price, look at a similar option. Same expiration, same strike price. The option over on the left is about a $910 premium. The option over on the right is $180. Now, why do they have such different prices? Well, that option on the left has extremely high volatility, and that leads to the option being overpriced. Buyers who buy these options are paying too much. Well, what's the big deal? Well, let me put it to you in another way, right? My kids love strawberries. I go through so much strawberries in this house and watermelon too. Oh my God. If I told my kids today, I'm like, not buying another watermelon for like a week. Because my two youngest, my 3 and 4-year-old, they can polish off a watermelon by themselves in a day and a half. I guess I should be happy because it's pretty healthy, but still. Mainly got to deal with the juices, their clothes being ruined. Anyway, it's not about my kids. It's about the options, right? Anyway, going back to strawberries. Sometimes I get off on a tangent. You'll have to excuse me. So I go to the store and I buy strawberries. I buy strawberries that can be $2.50 a pint. Sometimes, and I don't know why, they're $5 a pint. When they're $5, they're extremely overpriced. But I buy them anyway. Why do I buy them? Because I take them home and my kids eat them. They taste the same as $2.50. It's just a bummer that I got to pay twice as much for them. The kids are still going to eat them. The enjoyment factor is the same, and they're still going to be fine. Well, that's food. Options are a different animal. Why don't you just go out there and buy that expensive option? What's the difference? Here's the difference. Let's pretend that over the next month and a half, the stock goes up $8 a share. Your stock just went up $8. That means if you bought 100 shares of stock, you made $800. But what if you bought the option instead? Well, I want you to take a look at the one on the left that was overpriced. That trade actually lost money. Over on the right, that trade had a 400% return on your money. You invested $180, your $180 is now worth $900. Why? Why did that happen? It all goes back to high volatility. When options have high volatility, the premiums are too expensive and buyers don't care. They just buy them. They pay too much. Well, again, we're going to take advantage of this. We're going to find these expensive, overpriced options and we are going to sell them. Why? Because when we sell these expensive options, number one, we make more money. Obviously, when you sell something that's more expensive, you make more money. Number two, it can increase our probability, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Number three, the more money we collect, the less monetary risk on the trade we have. These are a big, big bonus to us. We're going to stack probability even more on our side. Now, another one of our clients, Bob, he had one of the most interesting stories I've seen. Prior to working with us, Bob was making a bunch of the mistakes we talk about here, and it cost him dearly. In fact, he either ended up broke or bankrupt 3 times. In his own words, came close to living under a bridge. The options paycheck system helped Bob turn his situation around in as little as 4 months. He learned to turn those mistake liabilities into strategies to control and stack probability in his favor. He said in 4 months, he grew his account by 71% and achieved a 79% winning trade percentage. Remember, if you want to control your returns and your results, you got to learn how to control and stack probability in your favor. Now, let me ask you, have any of you ever made those buyer's mistakes that have traded options before? Do me a favor, just give me a quick yes or no in the chat. I'm kind of curious to see if you guys have made those mistakes too. I'm going to mute my microphone for about 10 seconds and clear my throat real quick. All right. Yep, I see lots of yeses. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, never traded options before. For those of you that never traded options before, that's okay. I like it. I like it because I can teach you how to do this from the ground floor. Okay? You know, the story I always use for this is this. I have 2 activities I love, bowling and golf. I'm really good at bowling. I'm really okay at golf. Okay? If I could give anything to those 2 games, I would like to be like, I don't know if you ever watched the movie like Flash Gordon back in the 80s, right? The good one with like Sam Jones and, you know, Topol and all those guys. Love that movie. You know where they like wipe, what's his name, Zarkov, where they wipe his brain out? I wish I could get my brain wiped out of everything I know about golf and bowling. That way I can hire an instructor to teach me how to do it from the ground floor. No bad habits, no bad results, no bad anything. So if you're new to options, this is a good place for you to jump in. Learn how to do it right from the start. So don't worry about new. Don't worry about new at options. We can teach you. Now, you've seen how becoming the seller allows you to trade with a lot of probability and benefits. Now, let's talk about how to trade with very little risk. Because when a lot of people hear the word options, and especially the term selling options, they immediately think it's risky. However, the options paycheck system uses a low risk strategy for selling options. This is why it's a core strategy we teach our retirees. Why is reducing risk so important? Because most people who don't use the options paycheck system, they're not preserving their capital. They've had one bad trade wipe out the gains from a bunch of winners. And that makes it very, very hard to recover losses. It takes a long time. But when you do it right with the right system in place, you're going to have a built-in protection plan. You're going to take care of risk management before you even open the trade. This allows you to preserve and grow your capital. Like I said, home runs look good, but singles are what wins the games. Now, one of the most common questions we get is, can I trade options from my IRA? And a client of ours, John, grew his IRA over 112% in 1 year using our options paycheck system. John had tried and struggled with trading for some time before working with us. He learned to follow the system and he turned his inconsistent results into predictable monthly income. In 12 months, he enjoyed 85% winning trades and he more than doubled the size of his IRA. And again, while he said he spent no more than 15 minutes per day on his trading. Now, the options paycheck system makes sure you reduce your risk even before you open the trade. First, we choose stocks that are low risk. We have a very specific criteria, but in general, if we're bullish, we start by focusing on good stocks that are already rising in price, very similar to what you would see here. Then, instead of selling an option naked, we're going to sell with protection. So let me show you how to do that. A traditional option selling system leaves you with all of this risk down here. The options paycheck system shrinks your risk to just this. So let's look at how this works. This is a graph again of a typical stock we'd be bullish on. It's a beautiful looking graph, so it's understandable you'd want to be an owner here. Now, traditional, people would buy the stock maybe right here, right at the current price, or maybe they buy a call option using the current stock price as a basis for their strike. But remember, you're not the buyer anymore. You are now the seller. You're going to do this. You're going to use probability, and based on that probability, you are going to go below the current stock price. Why below? Because now I'm setting myself up for a trade that can go up, sideways, or down, and I can still make money. We are going to sell a put. When you sell the put, you receive a premium. You're getting paid. In this example, we get paid $200 per contract. If you did 10 contracts, that'd be $2,000. That's great, right? However, you have no downside protection in case the stock drops. That's the same as even if you just bought 100 shares of the stock. If the stock opened up the next day and dropped to $100, you just took a $35 loss, $37 loss on the stock. You lost money. Options would be no different. But what we're going to do is we're going to use a built-in protection plan. You are in the same transaction going to buy a put down here as insurance. Now, buying this put has reduced your risk to only this. Now, that protection plan does cost something. To buy that protection, you need to use some, but not all the money you receive from selling the put. So in this example, the insurance cost me $100. Now, that's okay because you received $200 from selling the put. That leaves you with a net credit of $100 per contract. That means you get paid $100 to make this trade. There's no money out of your pocket. If you did 10 contracts, you just received a credit of $1,000. Again, you get paid to place this high probability trade. Now, how does this work? Basically, when you enter the trade, you get paid because you are a seller. You're selling something. You're buying something too, but the sell overtakes that. You're going to get paid a premium. Now, that trade, don't think of this as options right now. Just say, Okay, I've got an option trade on. That option trade is going to change value every day based on the stock price. If the stock, pardon me, if the stock goes up, the value of the contract that you sold will decline. So if you sold it for $1,000, now it might only be worth 700 or 800. Remember, when you sell an option, selling an option is not like when you sell something on Facebook, right? Maybe you sell a couch. $100 for my couch, come pick it up. The buyer comes, grabs the couch, puts it in his truck, gives you 100, he's gone. You're done. That transaction is complete. Options are a little bit different. Options are more like an insurance policy. What do I mean by insurance? And don't confuse that with insurance here. An insurance policy works like this. I write a check for $2,000 to pay for my car insurance. My car insurance company cashes that check. They now have the obligation to protect my cars if I get into an accident, or somebody else's property if I cause an accident. At the end of 6 months, if I don't have an accident, they keep the premium, they win. The policy expired, they keep the full value of it, they didn't have to do anything. Options are the same way. When I sell a put, that put has the contract of you may have to buy the stock for 135. Okay? Now, I've been doing this for 15 plus years. I've never actually had to go out and buy the stock. This doesn't happen. Our exit strategy exits us out of these trades before that would ever occur. So I've never had to do this, right? But it is there. That obligation is there. That's why, we buy that insurance. If something terrible happens, and let's say the stock drops to $100 a share like we talked about earlier, that insurance that you bought, that put that you bought has the right to now sell the stock to somebody else. See, when you sold that put to that trader, you're selling the obligation to buy the stock. He's buying the right to sell it to you. So now I can turn around and I can sell my $135 stock to somebody for $100. I'm protected. No matter what happens, I'm protected. This is why people buy puts when they are trying to protect their underlying stock purchase. It does the same thing. Okay? Now, what this trade does is it now gives us an area to make money. If the stock goes up, the value of our contracts decline. We sold it for 1,000. We can now go out into the marketplace as the options decline in value, and we can exit the trade for less money. I brought in 1,000 when I took on the trade. I sold it or I exited the trade for $400 or $500. I walked away with profits. Even if the stock goes sideways, the decay happens. Even if the stock comes down a little bit, the decay happens. And as long as this stays above 135, we can still make money. And here's the key. You want to know why I've never been obligated to perform a stock transaction? Because if the stock falls below 135, I exit the trade. I'm done. No more trade. It's over. Simple as that. Now, I want to show you a couple of trades that I did last year, part of my 37% that I did. So I did these trades with my clients. All my trades that I showed you earlier, the results, those were all done with my clients. I don't do anything like behind the scenes. But I'm going to be showing you some numbers now, so you want to be paying attention. When the market's bullish, we're going to be placing bullish income trades. Okay? And a quick tip, we're going to pick the strike with at least a 60% probability of winning. So here's an example of a bullish stock. This was from back in mid-June of last year. Pulte. Very nice looking graph. Look at how that thing has rallied over the past year from that point. From $37 a share up to 76. You can't beat that, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to predict that this market's going to continue moving higher. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to sell an option 21 to 45 days away. That's where that red line is. It's probably at that point right around 25 days to expiration, just kind of getting a visual here. The stock's priced at 76. Now, what I go do is I go to my broker or my Options Pro software. Any broker pretty much gives you a probability calculator, or they just give you the straight out probability. I go to my broker and I look at puts. And when I look at the puts, they give me a probability. So right now, the stock is at $76. If I look at a $75 put, that $75 put indicates that we have a 56% probability of staying above that price by the date of expiration of the option. So if I sell a $75 put, I have a 56% probability of that option expiring out of the money, and I would keep the full thing. If I go down a little bit farther to 73, I have a 73% probability of the stock staying above $73 a share. If I move down farther to 70, I now have a 91% probability of staying above that point to expiration. Now, quick note, we're not going to keep the trade to expiration. We're going to get out much faster than that. But this is how probabilities work. And probabilities, again, if you missed it earlier, this is based off of what the stock has done in the past. Okay? Now, let me ask you a question. Not knowing anything else, if I told you I could give you an option trade that has a 56, 73, or 91% probability, what would you like? Not knowing anything else right now. Just straight, hey, I could be 91% right, 73% right, or 60 or 56% right. Which one would you choose? Be honest. I like honesty. Yeah, C. You'd pick 91%, wouldn't you? I agree. Not knowing anything else about this, you're darn right I'd pick 91%. Why not? Well, you remember earlier when I talked about one winning trade or one losing trade spoiling a bunch of winners? That's C. That's 91%. Just like anything in life, too much of something can be bad. Probability is the same thing. Too much probability is not good. What good is it if you're 91% right? And let's say you take 10 trades. On 9 winning trades, you made $1,000, but on one loser, you lost 15,000. It's not worth it. Yeah, you're 90% right, but you're still a loser. That's not good. The sweet spot of this is in that 60 to 70% range. That's where it's at. So in this particular trade, using that concept, I went out there and I sold the option that had a 73% probability. Now again, this is how the trade works. Both of these are done as one transaction. They are called a bull-put spread. Bull because I do it when the market's bullish, puts because I'm using puts, and spread because it's two options in one transaction with a different strike price. Okay? Now, what I'm betting on here is that by the July expiration, the stock will stay above $73. Now, here's how the trade works. When I took this trade on, now mind you, I have a $100,000 account. I don't generally like to risk more than about 1% per trade. So when I did this trade, I collected about $1,700-ish. When I took the trade, I got paid $1,700. My goal is to make half of that. How do you make half of that? Well, if the stock goes up, those options are going to decline rapidly. And that's what happens. So 3 days later, the stock shoots up. I was able to exit the trade. Even though the trade expired in another month, it didn't matter. Options trade like anything else in the world. I can enter on one day, I can exit on the next. Heck, I can enter at 9:30 in the morning and exit at 9:40. Doesn't matter, right? We're not going to be doing that. We're not going to be taking day trades. But anyway, so 3 days later, I was able to exit the trade and make $876. That was beautiful. That's what I like to do. As a rule, if I collect $1,000 when I enter the trade, my goal is to make $500. Okay, that's my goal. A lot of people think, well, Ron, if I can make the $1,000, why wouldn't I just keep the trade till I make that? Because statistically and from testing, that actually makes you win less money because you have to stay in the trade an awful long time to get to that $1,000. It's not worth it. You have to stay in the trade longer, and that actually reduces your overall success rate. It's kind of interesting how it works that way. Now, let's flip the script. What happens when the market becomes bearish? Well, then we place bearish trades. A little bit earlier on last year, before summer, we were in a downtrend. So I look for stocks that are already moving down when the market is in a downtrend. One of the ones I found was Target. Target had a lot of bad press last year. Stock was beaten down pretty good. Earnings were rough. Guess what? Target was a good candidate for going lower. So let's zoom in a little bit. Right now, the stock's trading at 131. Okay, it's 130.93. Let's just round it up, right? Stock's trading at 131. I go out, I look at my options and I look at the probabilities. I'm going out 21 to 45 days. This option's more in the 35-day range, most likely, but that's fine. And I see that if I sell a 135 option, we have a 64% chance of staying below that price to expiration. If I sell a 140, I have a 76% chance of staying below 140. If I sell a 145, I have an 85% chance of staying below 145. Now, knowing a little bit more about what we look for, which one would you pick here in this example? All right, I see a lot of you picking B, a lot of you picking C. Nobody's picked A. That's good. That means you're kind of seeing that too much of that probability is a bad thing. Well, here's the answer. B or C is going to be fine. Well, when you say that, Ron, what B or C? What do you mean B or C? Which one would I choose then? They both can't be right. Yes, they both can be right, actually. So here's what it comes down to. If you're both right, you got to have a tiebreaker. Here's where the tiebreaker comes in. I am going to sell the option with the highest probability I can that maintains my risk reward that I desire. My goal is to make around $750 to $800 per trade and generally not lose about the same. I like to keep my risk and my reward right about the same. So in this case, because of the volatility of these options, I was able to actually go out there and I was able to sell B at 76%. That's the benefit of having high volatility options. So let me explain how this trade was done. This is now called a bear call spread. Why? Bear, because it's bearish. We expect the stock to go down. Calls, because now we're going to use calls. We're not going to sell a put. Now we're going to pick a call that's above the stock price, and we're going to sell a call. And we're going to buy a further higher price call as our insurance, the bear call spread. When I did this trade, I picked up around $1,520 or $1,530 in premium. I got paid. Now remember, it's like an insurance policy, right? Just because I got paid, just because somebody wrote me the check for the premium, that doesn't mean I'm in the clear. I have an obligation here. But the cool thing is that obligation can be shifted to someone else simply by trading the contracts to someone for a better price. Well, this is a more typical trade. Took about 7 days. Stock didn't even move very much, to be honest. It moved down like $3 a share. But that 7 days, 7 trading days, and $3 a share move was enough to get me profitable on the position. The average trade takes about 7 to 10 days. I brought in $1,520-ish when I took on the trade. I exited the trade later by paying someone $760 or so to take it off my hands. So think about that, right? If somebody comes to you and gives you $2,000 and then a week later says, hey, give me 1,000 of that back and we're good, you just made $1,000. It's a good thing. That's how an option trade works. That's how an option sell works. Okay? And then you're off, you're clear. You're done. Now, another client I worked with is Jim. He said prior to working with me, he told me his results were inconsistent. He felt very unsatisfied. He kept thinking there had to be something else out there that was better. Have you ever felt that way? There's something more out there? Jim said he wanted a way to find a more consistent and a way of providing more of a regular income. After he learned the system of being an option seller, he told me he had 21 winners in a row and he returned about 76% in about 8 months. And his average trade only lasted about 8 days. Can you imagine how that must feel going from being inconsistent to where all your trades are generating income? Well, that was Jim. What about you? What would an income system like this allow you to do? Do me a favor. If you could start making 3% per month on average, 36% per year, safely, what would that allow you to do in your life? Give me some examples. Type it in the chat. What would you do with an extra 36% per year? A lot more travel. I like that. Yeah, a lot of you guys are retired, and ladies, a lot of you guys are retired. So, more travel, sleep easier, not worry about inflation, help my kids more. I don't want to help my kids. I always make the joke that I'm 47. I'll be 48 in June. My kids are 7, 4, and 3. My help is going to be Social Security. We're gonna basically kind of help each other with that, right? I'll help them by giving them my Social Security, and they can help me by continuing to pay in the system. They're too young to understand what that means yet, but I kind of have a chuckle when I say that. Golf more. I love it. Fully retire. Exactly. Hey? All right. We said that before buying is gambling and selling is about controlling risk and putting the odds of success in your favor to generate income. The options paycheck system makes sure you have a guaranteed maximum risk. And it all goes back to whether you'd rather be the gambler or the casino, because keep in mind, the house always wins in the end. Being an option seller is the way you can make consistent income. It allows you to do it more safely and with a higher probability of success than simply buying and selling stocks. Now let's put this together. I want to show you how you can have a bulletproof system that you can do in as little as 15 minutes a day. And my students have implemented this, have told me this is one of the most important things they've learned. Why? Because one of the biggest things people ask me is how much time is this going to take me? And that's a great question. Well, here's the challenge. There's thousands of stocks out there. You got to find how to pick the right stock, the right option strategy, when you get in, what expiration, what strike prices, what do you do if the trade goes for you, against you, all that stuff. And sometimes it feels like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack because there's so much information out there, you don't know where to look. You spend hours researching your trades, going from guru to guru looking for advice. You're like that mouse in a maze, running into the wall after wall. You're trading blindly, you don't know where to go. It's stressful, it's disheartening. But with the right system, you can identify good trades, get reliable income in as little as 15 minutes a day. But to do it, you need a system, and not just any system, a straight line system, a simple way to know when to place your trades, how to find your trades, how to set them up, and how to manage them. So let me walk you through the pieces of the options paycheck system in the order they go in. No one else teaches option selling this way. This is like the secret sauce. There are 6 pieces, the top 5 build on each other, and then the 6th kind of ties them all together. We start out at the top with market direction. Now, a lot of traders just ignore this and they go out and start placing trades, bullish trades, bearish trades. They don't care what's going on. You're going to be placing trades that are either bullish or bearish based on what the current market is doing, because this adds probability. Stocks generally follow market direction for the most part. You're narrowing your focus. So instead of looking at everything, you're only looking at one of two possible scenarios. We have a timing system built in that tells us the market direction and which direction to trade. Once you know the direction of the market, you want to find stocks that are highly likely to move in the same direction. So just trading the stocks you know or listening to the gurus on TV, it's not the best choice for this. What you want to do is find stocks already in uptrends when the market's going up, kind of like Pulte, stocks that are going down when the market's going down, like I showed you Target. Okay? We save a lot of time in 2 ways. We look at 2 things, fundamentals and price trend. We have pre-built searches in VectorVest, which we use instead of digging through the data the institutions throw at you. Now, once you have your list of stocks, you want to find the ones that are the best for option trading. Not every good stock is going to be an options trade. Got to remember that. Earlier, we looked at how big of an effect volatility had on the options price. We want to trade volatility in the high end of the range, but we don't stop there. To take even more risk out of the trade, we filter out anything with an upcoming earnings event because earnings can throw the stock in any which way but loose. Okay? We also want to make sure that we're selling options in the right expiration, that sweet spot of 21 to 45 days. You can use tools from a broker to help. We have a proprietary search tool to help you find these in just a couple of seconds. Now we got to set up the trade. We pick the one that has the highest probability of success. That's based on the strike prices, if you recall. It's far enough away to where you have room to win, but not too far away. And that last factor is always the risk reward. I want to sell the highest probability I can with the right amount of risk and reward. That's the magic area right there. This is where the magic happens in the trade setup. Now, before you place the trade, you need to know what to do if the trade goes for you or against you, because you don't want to be sitting in a trade feeling frozen like a deer in the headlights because you don't know what to do. Our options paycheck system has rules to take profits at predefined levels. This can even be set up in advance with your broker. And if a trade goes against you, we have an adjustment strategy that you can use that helps you minimize your losses. We also know exactly when to exit a trade with a loss, and I can set that order up in advance with my broker. So it happens automatically. It's very unemotional for me. Now, lastly, you want a way to do this quickly. You don't want to be spending all your day on the process. So you need a tool that allows you to do all these things. It should be something you're comfortable using. Now, some brokers have tools that are better than others. You might find some paid tools to be very effective. For example, I like to use our proprietary tool from VectorVest called Options Pro, and that saves me a lot of time. Now, earlier we talked about Mike and Jim. Each of them is getting their results in about 15 minutes a day, and so is Hugh. In fact, he told me one of his biggest struggles was finding a system that was efficient and also worked. He said he wanted the proper balance between trading and free time. He didn't have that proper work-life balance. Are you like that too? That's by the way, that's one of the reasons I started doing this, because I was spending too much time in front of my computers. Now that Hugh learned the options paycheck system of selling options, he said he has more confidence, more free time. He's able to have more fun. In his first 43 trades, he had 38 winners and over 26 grand in profits in 4 months. So I want you to do this. I want you to take your pen. I want you to put a little star next to the part of the system that you're good at. So for example, if you have a quick way of finding stocks that are likely to go in the direction of the market, put a little star there. That's a strength for you. But if there's an area where something isn't working or you need a little bit of work or you've never done before, put a frowny face there. If you don't know how to trade options, probably everything from option selection down will be a frowny face. Maybe you've traded options before, but you haven't had much success with it. Might be in the selection, the trade up, or the trade management. Take about 15 seconds and give yourself a score. Where are you good? Where do you need some work? Now, I'm willing to bet maybe only 1 in 100 investors will ever know this and how to do this. So let me ask you a question. Share with me in the chat. What areas do you need to work on? Share responses with me. Oh, first one I see, trade selection. I've traded options before, didn't really have much success. It must be in the selection. Okay, that's very possible. Trade setup. I see a lot of folks saying, everything below stock selection. All of them I see. Kim, I think you mentioned all of them. So listen, it doesn't matter ultimately where the weakness is. We've got to get it fixed, because when you get smiley faces all the way down, this is how you're going to be able to generate income month after month in less than 15 minutes a day. So listen, I can't know the exact reason you came to today's webinar, but I'm going to make a few guesses. Maybe you've been trading blindly. You don't really know what to do. You're bumping into one wall into the next. It's leaving you with inconsistent results. Make some money, give it all back on your next trade. Kind of like what Jim did before he learned the options paycheck system. Maybe you're suffering through loss after loss, and those small losses are killing your portfolio. Maybe the money coming in isn't exceeding the money going out. Maybe you're just not where you want to be. And today I showed you the secret to fixing that. It's a secret I bet only 1 in 100 investors will ever know, and now you're one of them. You saw it's possible to win even if you're wrong. That you can do it with very little risk, even less risk than buying and selling stocks. You saw the system to get consistent income every month. And I showed you just a few of the many, many people who use the system every day so they never have to worry about retirement again. You saw over and over the secret to generating your consistent income is that shift from being the gambler to being the casino. Remember, you're not going to be that one investor out of 100 who knows the secret. That means there are 99 other investors out there who will continue to do things wrong. They'll be buying and making all the mistakes we talked about. We can't stop them from doing it. There's always going to be investors out there who are the gamblers. Let them be that way. As long as they're there, you may as well be the casino. Because remember, the old saying, the house always wins in the end. The options paycheck system teaches you how to stack the probability of success in your favor. Just like Brian learned, and Bruce, and Bob, and Jim, and Hugh, and John. So if you're like most people, you're wondering, how do I implement the options paycheck system in my portfolio right now? Well, now it comes to a choice. Option number one is to do nothing. And stay where you are. If you already have enough money to retire, you're not really worried about running out of money, then maybe you don't need the options paycheck system. And that's a great place to be. But I don't know if not doing two people that wouldn't want to use some extra money every month. And that leaves you with two other options. Option number two is to do it alone. Try to learn how option trades work, figure out what way the market's moving, find the right stocks, do the right options trade. Listen, if you put in some work, are willing to lose a little bit by trial and error, you might be able to pull it off. But why? Option three is to let us guide you through it. I'll walk you through each piece of the options paycheck system, and in just a few weeks, you'll have a simple system to follow that doesn't take a lot of time. Of those three options, ask yourself what's going to be easier for you. There's two types of people. Person number one is someone who dreams about their financial goals, but they never take action or do anything to make it happen. Person number two is someone who's serious about their financial future. You're ready to take action when you see an opportunity in front of you. Now, since you're dedicated to be with me to this point, I'm willing to bet that you're person number two, and that makes you the perfect candidate to get started on your first options paycheck. So let me tell you what we put together for you. The Options Paycheck Experience is the most comprehensive program for generating consistent income using option spreads, even if you've never traded in options before. The Paycheck Experience is the only implementation program of its kind that teaches you the secret to generating consistent income with options because we show you exactly how to find, set up, and manage your option spreads to generate income and how to do it safely and consistently in any type of market. So you don't have that fear of running out of money. Now, after going through the experience, you'll know exactly how calls and puts work along with all the fancy terms so you don't have that fear of options. You're going to have clear signals telling you when to trade, bullish or bearish, and when even not to place trades. You're going to be able to quickly identify the stocks that are the best candidates. We're using a rules-based approach, and that frees up a lot of time in your life. You're going to be able to set up an income trade that gives you a 70% or better statistical success rate, even if you've never traded options before. You're going to have a trade management game plan in place prior to placing your trade so you know how to handle any situation the market throws at you. You're going to be able to confidently enter and exit trades with your broker like a pro, whether it's your first trade or your 500th trade. And you're going to implement a system that allows you to safely and consistently generate income so you can begin to live that lifestyle you want without the fear of running out of money. Now, the course is 8 modules, and we made them so each module builds on the one prior. As you go through the modules, you're getting closer and closer to that end goal, which is a system for consistent income. Now, the first 2 modules are what we call the Option Income Foundation. A lot of people try to build a successful income portfolio, but they base that portfolio on such a weak foundation of knowledge. And we understand what it's like to learn options for the first time. We've been there too. That's why it pays to learn from a team who's gone through this before. The outcome you're going to get from Module 1 is you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work so you can confidently use them in your trades. You're going to know which terms to pay attention to, which to ignore so you don't waste time or get frustrated. In Module 2, you're going to learn what a spread is and how they work. You're going to be filled with all the confidence you need to start building your income system around these powerful trades. Now that you've got your solid foundation of knowledge, it's time to lay out that step-by-step system to placing income trades and generating that options paycheck. Each step along the way stacks probability in your favor and reduces risk. And it all starts with knowing when to trade. You're going to get complete clarity on market trends here. So instead of looking at all possible trades, you're going to narrow your focus. You'll know whether to place bullish trades or bearish trades and even when not to trade. Now that you know the direction of the market, we're going to find stocks that are highly likely to move in that same direction. This is going to stack probability even more. The outcome here is you'll know how to quickly find the best stocks and indexes to trade that give you the highest probability. Now that you got a list of stocks, it's time to narrow it down to the best option candidates that give you the highest probability for profits. By using the rules in this module, you're going to make sure you're getting paid top dollar for your trade and making it so you can make money even if the stock goes nowhere. You're going to continue to stack probability and reduce risk in Module 6 by the way you set up your trade. Here, you'll make sure your trade has the perfect combination of risk to reward, and you'll know exactly where to set your strikes. Great trades don't happen by accident. They happen because of careful planning and strategically setting them up correctly right from the start. Now that you got your high probability trade picked out and you're ready to go, Module 7, you're going to learn how to have your plan in place. That way you know what to do when the trade goes for profits or minimizing losses. You're never going to be frozen like a deer in the headlights again. No matter what the market throws at you, you will know how to react, and that's going to allow you to trade completely stress-free. Now that you got the best stock, you set up your low-risk, high-probability option trade, and you mapped out your trade management game plan, it's time to place your trade. This module will break down the trade execution phase into simple, repeatable steps you can commit to muscle memory in no time. We put everything you need into a checklist so you never miss a step. When someone is first starting out, it's always comforting having a security blanket to make sure you did everything correctly. Plus, placing trades with your broker can be intimidating. So in addition to video walkthroughs of several popular brokers, we put together click-by-click directions for the most popular options broker, Thinkorswim from Schwab. Now, before we talk about the price of the course, I want to make it even more low risk for you. We offer a 100% money-back guarantee on the course. You can go through the entire course, and if you're not satisfied we taught you how to profit using options, just notify us within a week of finishing the course, and you can get all your money back. It's completely no risk. All we ask is that you give it your best effort. Come to the classes, watch the recordings, do the assignments, because we know if you do, you'll see the results. If you don't do the work, you won't be eligible for a refund. Now, the reason I have such a tight refund policy is because I only want to attract those who are incredibly excited to jump in, do the work, and get the results. I want to attract serious investors. In order to do that, when I make the policy that you have to do the course, I only get serious people who are ready to do this. And remember, when you do this system, you're learning something that averages 3% per month or 36% per year on average. And remember, it doesn't take a lot of time to do it every week. I received this email from a client who took the course. Ron, I'm writing to thank you for teaching the Options Paycheck course. I took your class last fall and wanted you to know my results for the past 10 months. I keep a journal to document every trade, and so far I've profited on 239 trades out of the 350 I've taken, a 68% win rate. I've profited over $100,000 in this time. What's more exciting is that since my knowledge and experience have grown in regards to taking really good trades, I've profited over $50,000 in the last 6 weeks. My success rate has been 78% over my last 100 trades, and I only take trades with a 2-to-1 or better risk reward. Thank you again for teaching this simple but effective system. Now, a couple things about Joe. Joe trades more than I do. I typically trade 12 to 15 trades a month. I'm pretty hands off. Joe's trading 30 trades a month. There's nothing wrong with that. You can scale the system up, scale the system down. It's all good. That's the cool part about this. Now, going back to before Joe took the class, if I would have asked him, hey, Joe, I'll give you 100 grand, you only give me 2. Think he'd take that trade? Would you? Well, I got a better offer here than that you're going to see in a second. Now, before I tell you more about it, I want to point something out. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not something where you should expect to become a millionaire in the next 24 hours. It's serious and requires some effort on your part. So if you're not going to commit to it, then don't do it. It's not for you. This is for serious people who take their investing seriously and who are willing to put in the time to learn the system. So if you're serious about this and ready to do the work and get the results, then the Options Paycheck course is perfect for you. Step-by-step training to go from option basics to a full complete income generating system. Just these training modules alone are worth the price of the course. However, we've got some amazing bonuses for you as well. Bonus number 1 is what we call the Mastery Package. The Mastery Package includes module by module mastery sessions. Each week we'll have 2 mastery sessions, one dedicated to each module to help you master the course material. Plus on Friday, I'll have an additional live Q&A. That means there's going to be 3 live sessions each week, giving you plenty of opportunities to ask questions and get help. The Mastery Package also includes a private dedicated email support with me directly and my team. Additionally, if you don't already have it, we're going to give you access to VectorVest and Options Pro software for the 7 weeks of the live curriculum. That way you can test drive the best tools on the planet to help you implement the system. They're not mandatory. We'll also show you how to do this with broker software too. But with this Mastery Package, you're going to have the tools and support you need to master the techniques taught in the course, so you're ready to place your first trade in the shortest time possible. Now, the second bonus is what we call Implementation Month. You're going to get access to our live trading sessions. During those sessions, you're going to watch me find, select, set up, and place trades in real time. Plus, I'll show you how I manage my existing trades each week. This is a huge bonus. You're going to see the paycheck system in action. You can follow along in your own account if you want to. I'll also hold live office hours twice a week. Together, we're going to walk through the system step by step in real time. Our past students have said this is one of their most favorite parts of the course. Watching that repetition really helped them cement the concepts and process for them. And if you're worried it might be too much, I'm including this bonus. It's called the SPS Paycheck System. This is where I take the entire course and boil it down to something you can do in as little as 15 minutes a week. One trade type, one ticker symbol, one setup rule, one profit rule, one stop criteria. It's a simple and easy trade to do. My teammate Brian, he taught this to his then 14-year-old daughter, and she was able to do this. For many of my students, this is the only system they use. So as a recap, with today's offer, you're going to get the complete Options Paycheck training program that includes 8 training modules, videos, checklists, cheat sheets, quizzes, slides, more. The bonus mastery package, the implementation month bonus, and the SPX Paycheck system. The total value of that offer is $54.75. So there's the opportunity in front of you. I'm going to roll up my sleeves and work with a couple hundred people who are serious about generating income. If you choose to be one of them, together we're going to create an income system in your portfolio even if you've never had success with options. So if you want to join me, have me take you by the hand and help you install this in your portfolio, then instead of $5,000, the early bird price for the course is only $12.95. Now, You spent about an hour with me today, so here's what I want to do just for those of you on the live webinar. If you order before the end of the webinar today, instead of paying $12.95, you can get it for $9.95. That means you're going to get the full course, 1 year of access to the course, the mastery package, the implementation month, the 7 weeks of Options Pro and VectorVest during the live curriculum for $9.95. Now again, that's only if you sign up while we are doing the webinar. Once we close the webinar, the price goes back to $12.95. If you want to order, simply go to www.optionspaycheck.com. And I know the $9.95 is a cost, but ask yourself, what's it going to cost you not to do this? How much money are you going to lose out by trial and error? How much potential profit are you going to miss out on? How much time and energy are you going to spend trying to do this on your own? And then ask yourself, how would life be different if you did it and it worked? You know, there's a saying that the best time to plant an oak tree is 20 years ago, so you could be sitting under it now enjoying the shade. You know when the second best time is? It's today. It's not too late to begin to prepare yourself for retirement and learn to generate income. This is one of those deciding days in your life. Will it be the day you decided to take action and set yourself up for a secure retirement, or will it be the day you look back on where you squandered an amazing opportunity to create a consistent income stream? I hope you don't regret the decision you make. Don't miss this opportunity. I look forward to working with all of you in class. So again, go to www.optionspaycheck.com, get yourself registered. Remember, that $9.95 price is only available while we're live in the webinar. So if you've never taken the Options Paycheck course before and you want the lowest possible price, go to www.optionspaycheck.com. After the webinar, the price will increase to $12.95, so don't wait. I don't want you to miss out. Go to www.optionspaycheck.com, fill in your details, get signed up. Now, before we break into our Q&A, I want to cover some of the most common questions that we get. And the first, I think, is the most important. When are the live sessions, and what if I miss one? Well, here you go. The live class starts next Tuesday, April 30th, with our 4:30 p.m. welcome session. Then you can see on Wednesday and Thursday, we do our first 2 mastery sessions. So if you sign up for the course right now, the course is going to open up to you. You're going to get all of the modules, the slides, everything you need. We're going to start VectorVest and Options Pro on May 1st. That way it's in time for that first mastery session. So what we want you to do in the next week is to watch modules 1 and 2. That way you're ready for that first week. Now, on Friday, we're going to do an open Q&A. The difference between a mastery and a Q&A, a mastery, we have kind of an event. We have actually a method we do things. We talk about a review. We do the action items. We do the quiz with you. We ask for questions. We do pre-selected questions. We have a agenda that we go over. The Q&A on Friday has no agenda. It's just all of us getting together, questions, answers. Ask me questions, I give you answers. I'm like Radio Shack before they closed. Now, if you can't attend our live sessions, it's not a big deal. Everything is recorded. Within a couple hours of the end of the live session, we will have that recording posted to the university site. You'll be able to watch it. You can even email me questions. Hey, Ron, I didn't get a chance to, I'm not going to get a chance to watch this, but could you answer this question for me tonight in the mastery session? And guess what? I'll answer it. You can watch the recording. So those mastery sessions and learning the modules is the first month of the course. That takes you through the end of May. Now, the last week of May starts our implementation month. On Mondays, and you can see that first Tuesday, because of the market holiday, I have my SPX and my stock trading classes. This is where we're going to implement, and we're going to use this in real time, and I'm going to show you how I trade my money. Okay? Again, those are also recorded, so if you miss them live, it's not a big deal. Then on Wednesday at 4:30 and Friday at noon, during the last week of May and into June, this is going to be your office hours. Office hours are just another class that we can get together. We can review trades. We're going to find trades. And those of you that have a job during the day, that Wednesday 4:30 class is pretty cool because I'll show you how to find trades at night that you can put in for the next trading day. And again, if you can't be there, it's okay. Watch the recording. We record everything that's live for you. Okay? One of our prior attendees, Greg, said, prior to the course, I struggled with knowing how to protect myself. When the market was moving away from me, I feared if I didn't fix it, I would lose more of my portfolio than I could afford to lose. After taking the options paycheck, I feel better prepared to trade and much more confident. In the first month, I made a net of $10,200 from my options income trading with 9 winners and only 1 loser. I would absolutely recommend the course. It was well done, very educational and informative. It's an excellent educational opportunity that I'm thankful I took advantage of. Don't let fear hold you back. You will make more in the first month than you paid to take the course. I was one of the fence sitters who didn't take this course for a long time when I saw it offered. I lost a lot by not taking this program sooner. I'm very grateful and appreciative of the work that was put into making this training program available. Now, another question that we get asked a lot is, well, how much options experience do I need? I've never done this before. We poll all of our prior attendees, and 85% of our prior attendees have said that you can be successful with little to no options experience. You can do this. You can do this. We have the support. We have the structure you need to be successful. Just like these folks. Cheryl, I've surpassed my expectations. I don't need the money back guarantee. I tripled my investment. Frank, after taking the course, I already have a profit of 7,300. Before the course, it was a crapshoot. Now I believe in the options trades I'm doing. Cam, I've made back the initial investment so many times over. Even though it's a small part of my portfolio, it's probably the most profitable. Jake, I finally found a method of making consistent winning trades with a high probability of success. Some of our most recent students. Neville said, thanks for a wonderful course. Within a short period of time, you've opened our eyes to many things. Your experience, enthusiasm, and your desire to teach come through easily. You put a lot of thought into the training manual. Already paid for the tuition with a few Delta 35 trades. David, the options paycheck experience is by far the best course I've ever attended in all my years with VectorVest since '99. You've eliminated my fear of trading options. The manner in which you presented the material is truly outstanding. Ben, the attention I received for all my email questions was above and beyond what I expected. A lot of my questions were demonstrated in class, and that made my learning much easier. Great job. So again, don't waste the opportunity. Go to optionspaycheck.com, register for now. $9.95 is the lowest price you're going to find this course at as a first-time attendee. Registration closes at 10 a.m. next Tuesday. Don't miss out. Get out there, go to optionspaycheck.com, and get yourself signed up. All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my colleague Brian on, and we're going to do a Q&A and kind of wrap up anything else that you may have questions on before we shut the webinar down tonight. Brian?
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right, great session. As always, you answered a lot of the questions before we could get to them. With the first two questions right out of the gate, right in the chat, were from James and Michael, and they're like, "What's the schedule? When are the classes?" So, you already answered those. So, nice job there. Quick reminder, everybody, that just like Ron said, the $9.95 is good while we're live. Just go to optionspaycheck.com. Link is in the chat. Just click on the link and go there and place your order. Also in the chat, let us know if you've taken this course before with us. Just let us know that you've taken it before, because we do offer an alumni discount. So if you're interested in taking it again, some people might be like, why would somebody need to take it over again? Well, if it's been 3 or 4 years and you just want to kind of get back in the groove and go and watch Ron's mastery sessions all over again, we do have a refresher rate of $4.95. So just give our team a call or let us know in the chat. We could help you out. Other than that, Ron, I think probably the other thing that, looking at the questions we get in the chat, the thing that will help people out would be showing them what the course looks like, because that'll answer, or I know you answered it, but it'll reinforce what you said earlier about the recordings and where to find them, the live classes, and maybe if you could just show them the class, it'll help answer some of those other questions.
Sure. So when you sign up for the course, you're going to get access to our university site, which is looking like this. So over on the left-hand side, this is kind of the meat over here. This is where all the lessons are, everything that you need to do. So first and foremost, there's a getting started, watch me first, and that's just a little 7-minute video talking about welcoming you to the options paycheck thing, and that's all that kind of stuff. There's going to be a live welcome recording. That's going to be available next Tuesday at, after our 4:30 live welcome session. But most importantly, and the one I want to point out more specifically in this Let's Get Started section, there's the course curriculum checklist. This is important. Print this out. It's very, very important to get, because this is actually going to give you kind of a checklist for what we want you to do in each module. So as I said, I really want you to do the first 2 modules before we meet live next week. So for module 1, that means watching the snapshot, doing the lesson 1 through 4, the module review, answering the review questions, and doing the action items. And then if you have any questions that you want to talk about, just kind of write them in over here on the right-hand side. There's a checklist for every one of the modules. You can see that they all have a different amount of lessons, but they all basically have the same format we want you to do in each module. And then in the end of this document is our schedule. This is the schedule of all of our live events. So a lot of people always ask, Ron, print that calendar out. Can you show me that calendar again? It's right here in your live checklist for your course curriculum. Now, once you get down below the welcome section, these are all of the recordings, modules 1, and if I scroll down, you'll see all the way through modules 8, and they're all the same thing. Recorded lessons. If I open that up, that's going to be the snapshot. That's going to be all the lessons, and then the trade setup and review and action items. Then underneath that, there's a review question. This is actually a quiz, and you just take the quiz. You should use option volume as the main measure of an option's liquidity. That is false. You shouldn't do that. Okay? But you're going to be able to go through these questions and answer them all. The minimum open interest is 100. Next question. We sell calls that are out of the money. Next question. Okay? I'm just baffling you with my beautiful knowledge of this. That's all the reason I did that. Now, under those review questions, we also have an answer key video. So if you didn't answer a question right, or if you want to see me walk through the questions with you, we have a video for that. Every module has an action items walkthrough. Okay? Open that up, and we have videos on how to do the actual walkthrough. We have frequently asked questions, and then most importantly, there's that mastery session recording. Now, if you open that up, this is the placeholder for where all those mastery sessions that we do live are going to be held. Now, this one has a date of February 15th. That was actually a mastery session I did back on February 15th. So if you want to watch that one before we do our live one, you can certainly do that. And again, if you want to watch any of my old events under that mastery session recording, you can even see I've got one there already for module 1. Now, on May 1st, when we do our first live one together, this will be erased and you'll see a new date there of May 1st. That's how you know it's an up-to-date recording. This is the only recording in the modules that gets updated. All the other ones are kind of like our master recordings. Now, down below is you're going to see the SPX trading system. If you want to get started and you want to get started quick, I would recommend watching the SPX paycheck and then concentrating on that 35 delta trade. It's a very easy trade to get started with. Below that, this is our section for the recordings of office hours and Q&As. During the first 4 weeks of the course, these are all going to be all your Q&As. So if I open up week number 1, you can see there's an old one there from February 2nd. Well, how do you know when the update is done? Because it'll say May 3rd. We're doing our first Q&A session on May 3rd. And you just follow that schedule all the way down. A little bit below that, you're going to see our live trading sessions. Okay? So live trading sessions, SPX trading, these are all of my old ones that I did with my prior class. These will be updated as we get into late May and early June. And same with my credit spread trading. You're going to get 7 weeks access to Options Pro that coincides with the start of the live curriculum on May 1st. If you want to learn a little bit more about Options Pro, here's some tutorials for you that you can watch. We also have broker help videos. These are the brokers that I've had access to or have access to now. Thinkorswim, E-Trade, IB, Ally, and Fidelity. So I kind of walk you through the process using the individual brokers. And then finally is your webinar links. Now, all those live classes, what we end up doing is we go and send out an email 24 hours before the live session starts. But we also know that over the course of all the presentations we've done here at VectorVest over the 30 plus years we've been around, right? Those emails get lost. They go to clutter, they go to spam. So what we've done is we've created a section on our university where all the links are. So if you get to Tuesday next week and you're like, hey, I never got an email invitation to the session, go to your university site, go to your live webinar schedules and links, and then all you got to do is click right there, and that'll take you to the session. And you can see that all the sessions are already open, and you can click on the links for them. That'll start next week. And then every week we'll open up the ones in the future. And then last but not least, under our resources, this is where you can print out all of the modules. So the slides, everything that you might need. As you get to the later modules, like Module 7, it'll include our position sizing worksheet. It'll have our spread checklist. And down here under the SPX, it'll even have our checklist for the Delta 35 or the 20 Delta trades, Thinkorswim order, click-by-clicks, a trade tracking spreadsheet, basically everything that you need to be successful with the course.
All right, Ron, nice work. We have questions on deadlines. So the question for about the deadline would be the $9.95 is good while we're live. Then it switches to $12.95, and then the registration closes in a week. And then we have to close registration for everybody because we actually have our first live session 1 week from today. And so we're pretty excited about that. So get yourself in. Those of you who have joined, I forgot to mention this. Those of you who said you had joined, welcome aboard. You should get an email from us tonight, usually tonight. If not in your inbox, check your junk, your spam folder. It'll have all the details for you, and you could actually start hopping into the course and going through the material this evening. Or if you want to get a good night's sleep, you can do it tomorrow. All right, so you check it out then. But other than that, I didn't see any new questions come in, so it looks like we were answering the questions as we went, and we've been answering questions in the chat. So if you do have an additional question, we put our phone number into the chat for you. It's just 888-658-7638. Give us a call. And other than that, I'm going to pass it over to you, Mr. Wheeler, to wrap up for the evening.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, all of you. Thank you, Brian, and thank you, my colleagues John and Todd in the background, for helping me with the session. And thank all of you for attending. I appreciate your time. I know an hour and 20 minutes is a lot of time, so I do appreciate it. And for those of you that are signing up, thank you. I appreciate your confidence in us. And remember, you have the money back guarantee. We are going to make sure that we do this right. You are going to be successful at it. It's that simple. Okay? So for those of you that signed up, again, thank you. I look forward to seeing you guys next week as the live sessions start. If you have any questions, by all means, you're going to get access to that email as soon as you sign up when we get your welcome materials. I'll see you next Tuesday, but if you have questions in the meantime, just let me know. And with that, I will bid you guys a fine good evening. Thanks again for attending, and we'll see all of you next week for the live sessions of the Options Paycheck Experience. Thanks again, everyone.